Good day, shipmates. My name is Nate Jones. Welcome aboard. Today is another milestone for me in that today I had to start on a whole new regimen for success. In order for me to really achieve the success and enjoy the success that I'm striving for, it is imperative that my health be in keeping with that pursuit. What profit is there to expend my energy and my time and my talents, and if I should reach a place of somewhat prosperity and the like, and my health is spent in the opposite direction, that will not only be a disaster for those who love me, but for those that I love as well. So I have to take into consideration my health. Having said that, I started a new regimen for myself personally, and I'm not here to try to give advice because I'm not a doctor. I can only go by what I have seen and heard and what I have learned along the way. I thank God, who is the constant source of my happiness. He gave me a dream the other day, and a very explicit dream, concerning my upper legs going down to my feet. It was a hair-raising experience because what I saw disturbed me, and I realized that a lot of my poisons that are in my system and so on and so forth, especially those things that cause me the greater concern, is in that area, especially when you sit down for lengths of time and you have the swelling in your feet and in your legs, mainly due to poor circulation and the like, and so on and so forth. And most of that stuff is as the direct result of what I've been eating and so on and so forth, and how I am eating and when I am eating and so on and so forth. So the Lord brought some things to my attention that I have to switch up. So as a result of that, today was one of my first days. Now, I haven't reached the place of full compliance. Yeah. But today was the first day toward that direction. And when I say full compliance, what that means is that my desire is to eat live food, not only on a consistent basis, but on a reliable basis. And I have not all the means at this point in time, because I have some things that I've already purchased that may not be the best, but at the same time, it's things that I can work with until I'm able to make that full transition. So that's why I'm saying not in full compliance, but I'm on the direction, or I'm on that route to that. And today being my first day. Just to give you a little backdrop, well, not so much a backdrop, but a little inkling into what that regimen is. It is my understanding, personally speaking, that God's day begins with the evening and the morning, and I believe that is not without purpose. What God seems to be conveying to me is that before I do anything that is of any significance, proper rest is required and needed, because you want to be able to start off from a complete sense of rest. So therefore, when I look in terms of my body, then I believe that my body, in order for it to do what it needs to do, it needs to start off from a complete sense of rest. Now, I'm not saying this is a scientific situation. I'm not saying that this is scientifically proven in terms of my understanding, but because of how I know and what I know, like the woman, I can perceive something to be right, even if I can't explain it to be right. It doesn't necessarily mean that my findings are incorrect. Be that as it may, my point is that I believe intuitively that the body should have proper rest in order for the function of the body to be at its optimum. So I'm electing to fast anywhere from at least 16 hours or more before my first meal. Now, some people may say that's a lot of time, but in reality, from what I have been shown and from what I'm understanding, in order for the body to reach a place where it can successfully take on the damages and the overworked and the problems that I have given myself by way of things or habits that are not encompassing with health, my body needs sufficient rest in order to go into the mechanics of fixing what it is that's broken. And rest is what I'm going to give the body. So 16 hours at least is about right. So my last meal of the day, 16 hours and more, brings me to my first meal. After my first meal, 5 hours give or take. Last meal, shut down, the cycle begins again. Starting that today. Another thing, once I am giving the body what it needs in terms of the rest that it needs, it is imperative for me to drink enough water between those periods. But more importantly to me, and I'm not saying more importantly as if water is not important. No, that's not my point. When I say more importantly, I'm speaking in terms of those nutrients that I haven't or been unable to successfully glean from the food, because when it comes to the digestion and so on and so forth, there's a whole mechanic of things that have to be done in order to be able to masticate the food, in order for extraction to take place, and so on and so forth. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I really can't go into these things specifically, but I'm talking about an intuitive sense within me, So because of that, I believe that it is imperative for me to drink the herbal concoctions where I can actually extract, as it were, from plants the necessary vitamins and nutrients by way of the liquid form. And then these things, without sugar or any additives, as I'm going on my way, may it be walking or working or whatever the case may be, I can drink these things intermittently throughout my time in terms of the 16-hour rest periods. A certain period of time in that I can drink those things and help the body to, especially when it's in that working mode, to offer it certain nutrients and certain amino acids and things that's coming directly from the plants that maybe I didn't get when I was masticating my food, when I was eating, or whatever the case may be. So those two working hand in hand can basically give my body at least a fighting chance to build, excrete, and so forth. So that was the second thing that I'm starting today. And of course, last but not least, on the line of my pursuit of health, not only is it important for me to give the body the rest that it needs, not only is it important for me to give the body a chance at the nutrition and the enzymes and so on, and the materials that the body needs to go into that facilitating stage of building and healing and so on and so forth. The other thing that I need to do is I need to be able to select those foods that are designed to promote life and health. This is a little bit more scientific. This is a little bit more involved. Again, I'm not trying to give advice to you or anyone in terms of what you should eat or how much of it you should eat. That's an individual choice, and that's an individual directive that you have to come up with, maybe with your doctor or someone else. But for me personally, not saying that I'm better than you and not saying that I'm better than your doctor, but what I am saying, because of my direct relationship with the God that I serve, and through the counsels that he has given me, I realize that there is a science behind eating food. And based on that knowledge that I have received so far, my design is to feed the body directly what I believe my body should have. And to be more specific, I would like to eat, as it were, 3 classes of food at one given time, no more than 3 classes. And the reasoning behind that, from what I have come to understand, is that notwithstanding the body's ability to adapt, when you give the body more than 3 classes of food, it's a weight and a burden upon the body unnecessarily. So when I eat my food, I can eat 3 classes, but in those classes, I can have several varieties as long as they all fall within the 3 classes of food, which gives my body the ability to be able to be not overworked in terms of the digestion, in terms of the selection, in terms of what goes with what. Now, of course, there is going to be some type of conflict because some classes will clash with other classes and so on and so forth. And I think, personally speaking, I could be incorrect, but I think that that's not too much of a challenge for the body, especially if I'm giving the body sufficient rest, if I'm giving the body sufficient water, and if I'm giving the body sufficient exercise and so on and so forth. It will not, while certain, it's good for me to find out what those classes are and what classes work best with what. I'm not going to stop to seek finding that out, but in the interim of that, 3 classes. What those classes are, as long as they are real foods, I will eat them. However, just a note, this doesn't necessarily mean that I will not be eating of the other stuff, because of course when I go for Sabbath lunches and folks offer me certain things, I'm not going to be so stiffed that I can't bend one way versus the other. That's an open season. I may enjoy myself with the brethren, but when I'm alone and in my personal way, more strict adherence will be felt and dealt with. My name is Nate Jones. The goal is to reach those things that I have told you, and I've explained to you what I want to do. My goal is to reach those goals, and in reaching them, I want to be able to give my wife, when we finally are together as a couple and as a man and wife, I want to give her the best of me and show her and share with her together how we can maintain not just the wealth, but the health. My name is Nate Joe. Thank you for listening. Welcome aboard.